The Inheritance is a brand new 2024 horror film that has Payton List in it, as well as Ward Norton from The Shawshank Redemption. That's how I'll always know him. And I mostly checked this out because Payton List is in it, to be completely honest. And this is about a man who is celebrating his 75th birthday. He is a billionaire, and he has his kids come home. One of them brings his wife, but there are 4 kids. You got 2 twins. You've got Payton List's character, who's like an influencer. The 2 twins are like business moguls who, take shit way too seriously. And then you've got the son, who's like the good guy and is married to the girl who's like the outsider kind of thing. And they're brought in, and they're told by their father that he is dying tonight, and that they have to keep him alive to be able to inherit their money. They're all going to get like $2 billion when he dies. And if he dies before the night is over, they lose it all. It all goes to a charity. So they're like, what the hell? And they can stay around if they want, or they can bail. And they all choose to stay because they want to make sure they get their money. And then they realize they're not dealing with anything of this earth, or I shouldn't say of this earth. Nothing natural. How about that? This is a really generic film, but it does feel fairly Hollywood. It actually kind of feels like something Blumhouse would throw out into theaters, so it has a high enough production value that it felt like an actual theatrical film to a degree. It might have felt maybe 1/2 of a step below that, but it was well shot, and it felt like the production was very adequate in that regard. As far as the story goes, this is where the generic part comes in. The scares, the story, the setup, the plot, all that stuff. The characters are all just standard archetypes that you've seen 1,000 times before. Nobody's got anything interesting going on. There's no 3 dimensions to them that makes you want to stick around and see their arc or anything. With horror movies, you don't absolutely need those things, right? Not everything in a film has to be top tier. You can have one-dimensional characters. You can have a thin plot as long as you're elevating other areas, right? It's like stacking your stats in a video game. Sometimes people go for more of the middle. Sometimes people up the gore and up the nudity, but then the acting and and all these different kinds of ranges can all be different forms of entertainment and can be good. But this one just kind of sets everything in right down the center. It's just all kind of okay, okay, I've seen that before. Okay, that's nothing new. Okay, that was okay. That's fine. It's just one of those movies. It's not. I think, I would think that horror fans who are big naysayers and they like to hate on everything would watch this and they'd be like, this is stupid. And I couldn't really argue with them exactly, because I would be like, I can't really defend this movie per se, but because I watch so much crap, it's this is fantastic compared to some of the crap I watch. But it's just a very basic, generic film that doesn't really offer anything that's noteworthy. I don't really have anything that I can focus on here to be like, oh, well, this was cool, right? This aspect of it was memorable. This is 100% the kind of film that, and I know I say this a lot, but I watch a lot of these types of movies, that I will, in a few years, someone will be like, did you see The Inheritance? And I'll be like, sounds familiar. What was that again? And they'll be like, oh, Payton List. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, Payton List. Payton List doesn't make good horror movies. She also made this movie called, The Friendship Game, I think is what it was called. That was abysmal. That was way worse than this. That was absolutely atrocious. It made zero sense. And funny enough, I just started Cobra Kai season 6 tonight, so good old Tori Nichols, her character there. That's honestly like, I don't know what Payton List show movie that I've seen that I've enjoyed outside of Cobra Kai. I watched a little bit of that School Spirit show. I think that was on like Paramount or something. It's on Netflix now. I was liking it. I don't remember why I stopped watching it, but that being said, I honestly can't think of anything. Maybe there's something Payton List is in outside of Cobra Kai that I've enjoyed, but I can't think of it off the top of my mind. So as far as my memory of her right now goes, with like at least the genre of horror, with these two fairs, not good at picking good horror films, unless I'm like completely forgetting some obvious one that I'm like, oh yeah, duh, she was in that and that was great. But this is just nothing to write home about. If you're like super bored, it pops up on a like Amazon Prime or a Netflix or something, and you're looking for something that's like watchable in the background, this is your movie. This is like, the movie it reminds me of is the movie from last year. And I want to say it had a similar title too. But the girl finds out she has a family in like London or something. And she flies out to meet him after she does like a 23andMe because she's like adopted or something. And then she flies out, and there's like this rich family that takes her in, and she finds out like they're trying to kill her or something. It reminded me of that. Similar story, similar quality, similar everything. I swear the title was like super, super similar. You remember that movie with the girl who inherits, or she takes the 23andMe, and then she like flies out to London to meet her family.
Oh, yes. I do.
You remember what it was called? Because this one's called The Inheritance, and it's not a similar premise exactly, but it had a very similar kind of feel to it, and it's about the same similar quality. It actually also reminds me a bit of the movie Humane, the Caitlin Cronenberg movie from this year, where they're invited and the parents are like, we're going to kill you because there's this like global crisis and people are sacrificing themselves for it, and it's just a house full of rich entitled assholes fighting against one another for each other's inheritance. So this is nothing new, right? Like Twilight Zone did this with the mask episode where they take the masks off and they still look ugly. The whole like the infighting with the family who wants all the money, and the parents like, I'm going to give it away unless you guys like hash it out here. This is nothing new. As I said, nothing new is brought to the table with this this story. So anyway, let me know if you watch it. As I said, it's nothing to run to, but it's not horrible. But yeah, that's that. All right, guys. Bye.